What if I told you that earning millions doesn't mean you'll keep a single dollar of it? In Hollywood, fame can crown you overnight, but it can snatch everything away just as fast. Today, we're diving into the jaw-dropping stories of 15 brilliant black artists who rose to the top, lived in luxury, and still ended up staring down bankruptcy. Some trusted the wrong people. Some battled addiction, toxic fame, or predatory contracts. And others never even saw the storm coming until it was too late. Stay with me, because the truth behind their financial downfalls is far more shocking, heartbreaking, and eye-opening than you ever imagined. Wesley Snipes, the man who sliced through vampires on screen, but couldn't outrun the IRS in real life. In the 90s and early 2000s, Wesley wasn't just a star, he was Hollywood royalty. Passenger 57, Demolition Man, the entire Blade trilogy, every film cemented him as the ultimate action hero with a paycheck to prove it. Millions per movie. Global fame. A career that looked untouchable. But behind all that box office glory, something dangerous was brewing. And it wasn't in a movie script. Between 1999 and 2001, Wesley didn't file his taxes. Not once. Not twice. But 3 years in a row. The IRS claimed he owed over $7 million, and things took a darker turn when it was revealed he'd fallen under the influence of fringe tax advisors who insisted he didn't legally have to pay anything. It sounded too good to be true, because it was. In 2008, the hammer dropped. Wesley Snipes was convicted on 3 misdemeanor counts of failing to file tax returns and sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. One day he was walking red carpets. The next, he was trading designer suits for a prison uniform. From 2010 to 2013, his career flatlined. No movies. No premieres. Just legal bills, disappearing roles, and a fortune evaporating by the day. Hollywood had moved on, and Wesley Snipes learned the painful truth. Fame doesn't protect you from the IRS. When they want their money, they come for it. The good news? Wesley didn't stay down forever. In recent years, he's resurfaced with memorable roles in Dolomite Is My Name and Coming to America. A comeback, yes, but also a warning. His rise was legendary. His fall was shocking. And his story remains one of Hollywood's most unforgettable cautionary tales about money, mistakes, and the high price of ignoring Uncle Sam. Isaac Hayes. You hear that iconic Shaft theme in your head? That deep, soulful groove that defined a generation. That was Isaac Hayes, baby. A musical mastermind who reshaped the very sound of 1970s soul. He snagged an Academy Award, stacked up Grammys, and earned his place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Isaac wasn't just a star, he was a cultural force, a pioneer whose influence still echoes through the industry today. But behind the golden glow of success was a reality few people ever saw. In 1976, at the height of his fame, Isaac Hayes shockingly filed for bankruptcy, more than $6 million in debt. How does a man that brilliant, that celebrated, fall so hard financially? The truth is a mix of crushing industry pitfalls and personal setbacks. First, Isaac got tangled in disastrous business deals. Ventures he believed in simply didn't pay off. And remember, this was the 1970s, an era when artists, especially black artists, were routinely underpaid and exploited. Isaac was creating hits that lit up the world, but the checks coming in didn't reflect the empire he was building. Then came the superstar lifestyle. Flashy cars, lavish homes, constant generosity toward family and friends. Isaac lived big. And when you live that big, the money disappears faster than you expect. When your expenses stay sky high but your income dips even slightly, debt can snowball in the blink of an eye. And of course, the IRS came knocking. Unpaid taxes don't just sit still, they grow, multiply, and choke the life out of your finances. What started as manageable became millions. Isaac Hayes' financial collapse was a painful reminder that even legends aren't protected from money troubles. Still, he kept creating, kept grinding. And later, his beloved role as chef on South Park brought him steady income and a new wave of fans. His legacy? Untouchable. His music? Eternal. But his story proves one thing: talent and trophies don't guarantee financial security. Even the brightest stars can fall if the money isn't managed right. MC Hammer, the man who made the whole world chant, "You can't touch this." In 1990, you couldn't escape him. His dazzling parachute pants, high-energy dance moves, and unstoppable hits took over radio, MTV, and every stage he touched. At his peak, Hammer wasn't just famous, he was a cultural earthquake. He earned an estimated $70 million at the height of his career. Yes, $70 million. He proved that rap wasn't just street music, it could rule the pop world. So how does someone go from $70 million to filing for bankruptcy in 1996, buried under $13 million of debt? Hammer's financial collapse remains one of the most shocking in entertainment history, and the reasons behind it are almost unbelievable. First, the entourage. Hammer didn't travel with a team, he traveled with an army. Around 200 people were on his payroll: dancers, bodyguards, staff, friends, and extended friends. Imagine cutting 200 checks every month. It wasn't a business, it was a financial black hole. Second, the mansion. Hammer built a California mega estate that cost $30 million to design, construct, and maintain. The property boasted 17 cars, 2 swimming pools, a recording studio, and even a full baseball diamond. The monthly costs alone were enough to sink most millionaires. Third, the lifestyle. Hammer spent money like it would last forever. Private jets, designer jewelry, massive parties, non-stop shopping. There was no long-term planning, no financial safety net. It was all about living in the moment, until the moment ended. Fourth, the music shift. By the mid-90s, pop rap lost its grip on the charts. Gangsta rap and alternative hip-hop took over. Hammer's sales dropped fast, but his expenses remained sky-high. The math didn't add up, and bankruptcy became unavoidable. MC Hammer's downfall is now studied in business schools as a textbook example of what happens when sudden wealth meets poor financial planning. His name became a punchline, a symbol of fame gone wrong. But here's the twist: Hammer didn't stay down. He reinvented himself, getting involved in tech, social media, and business ventures that rebuilt his stability and reputation. He's living proof that even after one of the worst financial wipeouts in music history, you can rise again. Gary Coleman, the kid who made America laugh with one unforgettable line. "What you talkin' 'bout, Willis?" That tiny catchphrase became one of the most iconic moments in TV history, and the bright-eyed boy behind it was Gary Coleman. As Arnold Jackson on Different Strokes, Gary wasn't just a star, he was a phenomenon. Between 1978 and 1986, he became one of the highest-paid child actors on the planet, earning millions before he even reached adulthood. By every measure, he should have been set for life. But Gary Coleman's story is anything but a Hollywood fairy tale. Despite all the fame, all the success, and all the money, Gary filed for bankruptcy in 1999. Not only was he broke, he was in debt. How does a child who generated a fortune end up with absolutely nothing? The truth is heartbreaking: exploitation, mismanagement, and betrayal. First came the people closest to him, his own parents and advisors. Gary later revealed that the very individuals who were supposed to protect him had mismanaged his finances and siphoned away his earnings. In 1989, he sued his parents and his advisor, winning a $1.28 million judgment. But that was only a tiny portion of what he'd actually made during Different Strokes. Then came the medical struggles. Born with a severe congenital kidney disease, Gary spent his entire life in and out of hospitals. He endured 2 kidney transplants and constant treatments, each one chipping away at his finances. And in America, even with insurance, medical bills can swallow savings whole. On top of that were poor investments and financial decisions once he finally gained control of what remained. And when the work dried up, as it often does for child stars, the decline was brutal. He went from being a beloved television icon to working as a mall security guard just to stay afloat. Gary Coleman's tragedy isn't a story of reckless spending or wild celebrity excess. It's a story of a child who was failed by the adults around him, drained by a lifetime of health battles, and forgotten by the industry he once carried on his shoulders. When Gary passed away in 2010 at just 42 years old, he was still struggling financially. His life is a sobering reminder of the dark side of child stardom and why young performers need protection long before the spotlight fades. Marvin Gaye, a man whose voice could stop time. The genius behind What's Going On, Let's Get It On, and Sexual Healing, songs that shaped generations and still echo through every corner of music today. But behind that velvet voice was a man spiraling through heartbreak, addiction, and financial ruin. By the late 1970s and early 80s, Marvin Gaye, one of Motown's brightest stars, was completely broke. He fled to Europe, not for inspiration, but to outrun the mountain of debts waiting for him in America. The collapse began in 1976 with a brutal divorce from Anna Gordy Gaye. A judge ordered Marvin to pay her $600,000, money he didn't have. His solution? Create an album solely to satisfy the court. That album became Here, My Dear, a bitter, painful soundtrack of a marriage in ruins, crafted not from passion, but from financial desperation. Imagine being so broke that you have to record an entire album just to pay your ex-wife. But Marvin's problems ran deeper than divorce. His cocaine addiction was bleeding him dry. Every high came with a heavy price, and drugs don't wait for royalty checks. On top of that, the IRS was circling. Years of unpaid taxes had snowballed into a financial nightmare he could no longer outrun. And then there was Marvin's own nature, an artist first, a businessman never. He lived from emotion, not spreadsheets. He trusted the wrong people, ignored the numbers, and poured his energy into music and self-destruction instead of money management. In 1982, Sexual Healing reignited his career and gave him a glimpse of financial recovery. For the first time in years, he was climbing back. But fate had other plans. In 1984, Marvin Gaye was shot and killed by his own father, ending not only his comeback, but a life marked by brilliance and unbearable pain. Marvin Gaye's story is a haunting reminder: no amount of talent, success, or fame can protect you from the consequences of chaos, addiction, and heartbreak. He was a legend, but even legends can lose everything. If you grew up in the 90s, you knew Sinbad. He was the clean, quick-witted comedian who lit up movies like Jingle All the Way and House Guest, headlined his own sitcom, and dominated HBO's comedy specials. On screen, he was pure joy, successful, relatable, and always in control. But behind the spotlight, a financial storm was quietly building. Sinbad filed for bankruptcy not once, but twice, first in 2009, then again in 2013. And the numbers were staggering. In the 2013 case alone, he owed over $1 million, but that was just the surface. In reality, Sinbad was drowning in roughly $8.3 million of back taxes owed to the IRS and the California Franchise Tax Board. That mountain of debt didn't appear overnight. Years of unpaid taxes had ballooned with crushing penalties and interest. But taxes weren't the only issue. Sinbad was living larger than his bank account could handle. Like many celebrities, he felt the pressure to maintain the lifestyle: beautiful homes, nice cars, supporting loved ones, and keeping up appearances. Month after month, his expenses outpaced his income, and the hole only got deeper. And then there's Hollywood itself, a place where success is never guaranteed. Sinbad was working steadily, but he wasn't earning blockbuster paychecks. His sitcom was canceled after one season, the roles slowed down, yet the bills kept coming. When the income drops but the lifestyle stays the same, disaster is almost inevitable. What makes Sinbad's story so compelling is how he handled it. He didn't hide. He didn't run. He openly admitted his mistakes and faced them head-on, working through the bankruptcy system with honesty and humility. He kept performing, kept grinding, and kept moving forward with the same good-natured humor people loved him for. Sinbad's journey is a reminder that even when you're talented, hardworking, and constantly on stage, financial trouble can strike hard, and the IRS never forgets. But through it all, he maintained something money can't buy: dignity, perseverance, and a fighting spirit. Kanye West, a man who built his legacy on bold words, big ideas, and even bigger risks. All these words we used to say, he once reflected, hinting at how emotion itself was being stripped from our vocabulary. But if there's one person who has never been afraid to express emotion, raw, messy, and unfiltered, it's Kanye. Love him or hate him, you cannot deny his impact. He's a musical visionary with 24 Grammy Awards, a catalog of genre-shifting albums, and a reputation that changed the very DNA of hip-hop and pop culture. But in 2016, the world froze when Kanye jumped on Twitter with a confession no one expected. He was $53 million in debt. Hold up, how does a man married into a billionaire family, selling millions of records, end up broke? Kanye's situation wasn't like the usual Hollywood downfall. His financial collapse came from an obsession, fashion. Determined to break into an industry that gatekeeps creativity more tightly than music ever did, Kanye poured tens of millions of his own dollars into Yeezy, into runway shows, factories, materials, and designs. The money was flowing out faster than it could ever come back in. In fashion, profit takes years. Kanye was trapped in the most painful stage, the middle, where you build endlessly but see nothing in return. His desperation spilled onto Twitter again when he publicly asked Mark Zuckerberg for a $1 billion investment. At the time, people mocked him. But behind the chaos was a simple truth. Kanye was drowning under the weight of his own ambition. And here's the important part. This wasn't debt from drugs, gambling, or reckless celebrity spending. This was business debt, the kind that crushes dreamers who bet everything on themselves. The kind that either makes you or destroys you. But Kanye? He does what he always does. He came back. His Adidas partnership turned Yeezy sneakers into a global phenomenon and one of the most successful shoe lines in history. By 2020, Forbes estimated his net worth at $1.3 billion. From $53 million in debt to billionaire status, just 4 years. Of course, the roller coaster didn't stop there. In 2022, after a wave of controversial statements, Adidas cut ties with him, causing another massive financial blow. But his 2016 crash and rise remains unforgettable. Kanye's story proves one thing: even the biggest stars can fall into serious financial crisis, but the type of debt matters just as much as the amount. His wasn't the downfall of a reckless celebrity. It was the cost of creating an empire before the world was ready to accept it. Lauryn Hill, a name that once echoed like pure magic through the 1990s. As the soul of the Fugees, she helped shape one of the most influential hip-hop groups of the era. And when she stepped out on her own, she didn't just succeed, she shook the world. The miseducation of Lauryn Hill wasn't just an album, it was a cultural earthquake. 5 Grammy Awards. Record-breaking sales. Global acclaim. Lauryn had it all: talent, respect, artistry, and a place in history carved in gold. But behind the brilliance, a storm was quietly forming. In 2012, news broke that stunned the world. Lauryn Hill was charged with tax evasion after failing to pay taxes on nearly $1.8 million she earned between 2005 and 2007. A year later, she was sentenced 3 months in federal prison, followed by 3 more under home confinement. Fans everywhere were left asking, how did it come to this? The truth is complicated. After dominating the late 90s, Lauryn stepped away from the spotlight. No new albums, fewer performances, long stretches of silence. And while the fame slowed down, the IRS bills did not. Income may stop, but tax obligations keep ticking. Then came the management issues, reports of poor financial guidance, misplaced trust, advisors who failed her when she needed them most. Like many artists, Lauryn relied on people she thought were protecting her interests. Instead, they left cracks in her financial foundation. And beneath it all, Lauryn herself was wrestling with deeper battles. She became disillusioned with the music industry, calling it exploitative and spiritually draining. She wanted distance. Freedom from a system she believed had taken more from her than it ever gave back. But the IRS doesn't negotiate with philosophy. Whether you're frustrated, burnt out, or spiritually conflicted, they still expect their check. In the end, Lauryn paid nearly $1 million in back taxes and penalties. She served her time. And though she still performs occasionally, she never returned to the creative firestorm she once was. Lauryn Hill's story is heartbreaking because her brilliance was undeniable. She had the potential to be one of the greatest legends in music history. But a mix of personal choices, misplaced trust, and a system she no longer believed in derailed her path. Her rise was historic, but her fall is a reminder. No matter who you are, no matter how iconic your talent may be, the IRS never forgets. And the consequences always come due. T-Pain. In the mid-2000s, he wasn't just a star, he was a movement. With smash hits like Buy You a Drink, Bartender, and I'm Sprung, T-Pain's voice was everywhere. Every major artist wanted him on their track, and every radio station blasted his sound. At his peak, he pulled in around $40 million, a fortune built on hooks, hits, and unstoppable momentum. But by 2013, everything crashed. T-Pain wasn't just struggling, he was flat broke. So broke he couldn't afford a Burger King meal. How does a man go from $40 million to not being able to buy fast food? It's a story of financial chaos and painful lessons. First, T-Pain spent money like it would never run out. He poured hundreds of thousands into jewelry, exotic cars, and designer clothes. Not investments, just expensive trophies that lost value the moment he bought them. Second, the biggest mistake. He bought over $40 million worth of properties and luxury items on credit. He bet his future earnings on staying hot forever. But when music trends shifted and the money slowed, those debts didn't slow with it. They smothered him. Third, he carried the weight of an entourage. Friends, family, and anyone who needed help. Generosity is beautiful, but giving away money you don't actually have is financial suicide. And finally, T-Pain admitted something most celebrities never say out loud. He didn't understand his own finances. He trusted the wrong people. He didn't keep track. He thought the cash would always be there, until one day it wasn't. The emotional collapse was brutal. Imagine going from chart-topping superstar to wondering how you'll survive. T-Pain has talked openly about falling into depression, feeling like he'd lost everything: his money, his confidence, even his identity. But this isn't a tragedy. It's a comeback story. In 2019, he shocked the world by winning The Masked Singer, and that victory reignited his career. He rebuilt himself with intention, smarter business moves, stronger financial habits, and a renewed focus on live performances. T-Pain's journey is a powerful reminder. You can earn millions. You can dominate an entire era. But if you don't understand your money, you can lose it all in a heartbeat. And sometimes, losing everything is what forces you to rise stronger than ever. Evander Holyfield. A name etched in boxing history. The four-time heavyweight champion, the iron-willed warrior who went toe-to-toe with Mike Tyson and Riddick Bowe, wasn't just a legend in the ring, he was a cultural icon. Over the course of his career, Holyfield earned an estimated $230 million. Nearly $250 million. By every measure, he should have been financially untouchable for generations. But his fall from grace became one of the most shocking collapses in sports history. In 2008, the unthinkable happened. Holyfield's 54,000-square-foot Georgia mansion, a sprawling 109-room estate with 17 bathrooms, a private bowling alley, and even its own movie theater, went into foreclosure. The property taxes alone topped $1 million a year, and the maintenance costs were a financial black hole. The house wasn't just a home, it was a monster that devoured cash around the clock. And the mansion was only the beginning. Holyfield fathered 11 children with 6 different women, resulting in child support payments that reached a staggering $3 million per year. Even for a superstar, supporting multiple households at that scale was nearly impossible to sustain. Then came the comebacks, long past his prime. Holyfield kept stepping back into the ring, chasing the paydays he once commanded. But the money wasn't the same, and every fight chipped away at his health while barely denting his debts. Behind the scenes, bad investments and disastrous financial advice drained his fortune even faster. Trusted advisors steered him into failed ventures, and millions vanished into thin air. But perhaps the most devastating factor was this: Holyfield kept living like the superstar he used to be, even after the money stopped flowing. When your expenses stay sky high but your income collapses, bankruptcy isn't a possibility, it's a guarantee. Evander Holyfield's story is heartbreaking because he wasn't reckless or foolish. He was a beloved champion who worked for every dollar he earned. Yet a storm of oversized expenses, misguided trust, and lifelong responsibilities consumed everything. Today, his financial downfall is studied in athlete financial literacy programs as a cautionary tale. A legend in the ring, brought down not by punches, but by the cost of living like a king long after the crown was gone. Toni Braxton. A voice so rich, so haunting, it could stop time. She gave the world Unbreak My Heart, Breathe Again, and a catalog of hits that defined the 90s and early 2000s. 70 million records sold. 7 Grammys. A global icon. With numbers like that, you'd assume Toni Braxton was set for life. But behind the spotlight, her financial world was crumbling, twice. In 1996, at the height of her fame, Toni stunned the industry by filing for bankruptcy. How could a woman selling millions of albums be broke? The truth was brutal. Toni had signed a notoriously unfair contract with LaFace Records, one that paid her just 35 cents per album. The world saw a superstar. But behind the scenes, she was drowning in debt while everyone else cashed in on her success. By the time she realized the truth, she owed millions, and bankruptcy became her only escape. But the storm wasn't over. In 2010, Toni filed for bankruptcy again, this time for debts estimated between $10 and $50 million. The cause was no longer just business, it was her health. Toni was diagnosed with lupus, a chronic autoimmune disease that required constant, expensive treatment. Medical bills piled up faster than she could pay them. In America, even someone with platinum records can be bankrupted by illness. On top of that, Toni had purchased a $2.5 million home she ultimately couldn't sustain. Mortgage payments, property taxes, endless upkeep, her dream house turned into a financial trap. And when her Las Vegas residency was suddenly canceled, the income she was depending on vanished overnight. The bills stayed. The money didn't. Still, Toni tried to maintain the glamorous life she'd always known: designer clothes, luxury trips, celebrity-level spending. But when your income drops and your lifestyle doesn't, the fall is inevitable. What makes Toni's story powerful is her honesty. She didn't hide from her struggles. She spoke openly about them, breaking the stigma around bankruptcy and exposing the harsh reality of artist exploitation and America's broken healthcare system. Through it all, she kept working, touring, performing, appearing on TV, proving that resilience is its own kind of royalty. Toni Braxton's journey isn't just about fame and fortune. It's about survival. It's about a woman with a legendary voice fighting battles the world never expected and refusing to let any of them silence her. Lil' Kim wasn't just a rapper, she was a revolution. A trailblazer who kicked down the doors of a male-dominated industry with raw lyrics, fearless style, and an attitude that made the whole world pay attention. With hardcore going double platinum and her iconic run with Junior Mafia alongside the notorious B.I.G., Kim wasn't just famous, she was untouchable. A true hip-hop monarch. But behind the diamonds, the magazine covers, and the unforgettable music videos, a storm was quietly brewing. And in 2018, it finally hit. Lil' Kim shocked the world when she filed for bankruptcy, revealing over $4 million in debt, including more than $1 million owed to the IRS. The queen who once sold millions now had assets valued at barely $82,000. So what happened to one of hip-hop's brightest stars? First, the IRS. The agency that does not forgive and definitely does not forget. Kim owed years of back taxes, and once the penalties and interest piled on, the debt snowballed into something almost impossible to escape. Then came the legal battles. In 2005, Kim faced a perjury conviction that sent her to prison, and legal fees that drained her bank accounts for years afterward. When you're fighting case after case, the courtroom becomes a financial nightmare. On top of that, her income began to dip just as her lifestyle stayed at superstar level. The tours weren't the same, the checks weren't the same, but the expenses? Still sky high. That imbalance alone can ruin even the biggest careers. And like so many artists before her, Lil Kim may have been misled by poor management and predatory contracts. The kind that look glamorous at 22 but become traps by 40. Bankruptcy wasn't a fall from grace. It was a reset, a necessary chance to rebuild, reorganize, and breathe again. Lil Kim's financial struggles remind us of a harsh truth. In the music industry, fame is bright, but it's fragile. Selling millions of records doesn't guarantee financial security. One misstep, taxes, lawyers, contracts, lifestyle, and even legends can crumble. But make no mistake, Lil Kim's legacy hasn't dimmed. She remains the blueprint for bold, unapologetic female rap. A pioneer whose influence stretches far beyond the headlines about her money and straight into the heart of hip-hop history. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson once looked completely untouchable. With Get Rich or Die Tryin' dominating the 2000s and business wins piling up, from clothing lines to video games to the legendary vitamin water deal that reportedly earned him $100 million, 50 wasn't just a rapper. He was the blueprint for the modern hip-hop mogul. At his peak, Forbes estimated his net worth at roughly $155 million. To the world, he was unstoppable. And then, in 2015, the headline no one ever expected hit. 50 Cent files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, claiming more than $32 million in debt. How does a man worth 9 figures suddenly end up tens of millions in the red? The truth is both complicated and shockingly simple. First, the lawsuits. 50 was dragged into multiple high-stakes legal battles. Sleek Audio won a massive $17.2 million judgment against him. Then came the lawsuit from Lastonia Leviston after he posted her sex tape online. Another $7 million he was ordered to pay. Those 2 cases alone swallowed more than $24 million of his fortune. Second, his bankruptcy wasn't what most people think. This wasn't a he's broke, Chapter 7 situation. This was Chapter 11, a strategic move used by wealthy individuals and corporations to restructure debt, protect assets, and buy time. It's less about being ruined and more about playing financial chess. Third, 50 Cent lived the lifestyle of a king. A 52-room Connecticut mansion once owned by Mike Tyson. Endless luxury cars. Jewelry. Private jets. The public image built on power and excess. Maintaining that brand costs real money, millions year after year. Fourth, not every business gamble pays off. For every vitamin water home run, there were other ventures that didn't deliver. When you're investing millions at a time, the losses stack up fast. But here's the twist most people never saw coming. 50 Cent walked out of bankruptcy stronger. By 2017, he'd paid back his creditors, reorganized his empire, and reinvented himself as a television powerhouse. His Power universe on Starz turned into one of the biggest franchises in modern cable TV. Today, he's making more money than ever. So was 50 Cent truly broke, or brilliantly strategic? Experts still debate it. But one thing is undeniable. Even when you're worth $155 million, one bad year, a few lawsuits, and a lavish lifestyle can shake the foundation of any empire. And sometimes, the only way to stay rich is to restructure before the world notices you're bleeding. Nene Leakes. For years, she wasn't just a reality star, she was the moment. As one of the original icons of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Nene's bold personality, razor-sharp wit, and unforgettable one-liners turned her into a household name. She lit up shows like The New Normal, Dancing with the Stars, and Celebrity Apprentice. For a while, it felt like Nene was everywhere, commanding hefty checks from TV appearances, club hosting, endorsements, and brand deals. But behind the glitz, a storm was quietly forming. Court records later revealed the truth: overdue taxes, unpaid rent, mounting debts, and financial issues that spiraled far beyond what fans ever saw on camera. While she never filed a high-profile bankruptcy, documents showed Nene was hit with severe tax liens, serious legal claims the government places on your assets when you owe back taxes. These aren't bills you ignore. These are bills that can take your home, your business, or your bank account. So how does a reality TV superstar with multiple income streams fall into financial trouble? First, reality TV money is unstable. One season you're the face of the franchise. The next season you're negotiating, feuding, stepping away, or being brought back. And that paycheck goes up, down, and sometimes disappears entirely. Second, the lifestyle is expensive. The world expects you to live like a star 24/7. Designer clothes, flawless glam, luxury homes, cars, parties, appearances. The image costs money even when the income slows. Third, business ventures can collapse. Nene tried her hand at fashion boutiques, TV projects, partnerships, and more. But when a business fails, the bills don't vanish. Rent, staffing, inventory, and contracts still demand payment. Fourth, legal battles drain your finances fast. Nene has faced multiple lawsuits over the years, and even winning can cost tens or hundreds of thousands in attorney fees. And through it all, she faced her biggest heartbreak, losing her husband, Greg Leakes, to cancer in 2021. Medical treatments and end-of-life care are financially and emotionally crushing, even with insurance. Nene's story is a powerful reminder. Fame does not guarantee financial security. Money can be big, but it can also be unpredictable. And when the pressure to maintain a glamorous reality TV lifestyle collides with unstable income, the fallout can be devastating. So tell me, which part of Nene's journey shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the stars behind the spotlight.